My name is Holger Lang. I'm from Vienna in Austria. I'm here the first time. It's my first experience at StopTrik. I knew about it for quite a while and I was interested in coming, but I didn't manage to do that so far. In Austria, I'm the director of a festival and symposium called Under the Radar, and I'm also working as an independent artist myself, and I teach, so I have quite a few hats to wear. My experience here so far is great. Maribor is not that far from Vienna, so I've passed through it in the past, and I'm old enough to know that Austrians used to come here for shopping because it was so much cheaper than in Austria. But it's great to be here with nice weather and being outside, having a really nice environment. I enjoy the program very much so far. Unfortunately, I missed the opening night because I still had to work, but I came yesterday early morning and I had 2.5 days so far, and both the competition program was very interesting, very nice. I was asked by Olga if I would be interested and willing to give a special mention, which I'm happy to do. And I was asked to participate in the curator's Q&A today. So I got lured into participating, even though...
So even here you have more than one rule.
Yes, exactly. But originally I just wanted to come and visit and see it. I tried to play it easy and just come as a guest, but then knowing Olga and Michael, I was asked to get deeper into it as well, which I am happy to do.
So is there some role that you like more than the others, the teaching, the making of movies?
It's hard to tell. I would say if you would strip it all down and go to the basics, I would say I am an artist and I would like to create. But that's embedded in a larger environment, and by exchanging with other people, communicating with other people, then you grow into other areas. Originally I never thought of teaching, and then people offered it to me, and when I started teaching they said, oh, please continue teaching, and you get pulled into it. And the same with programs. I made my own work, and then people ask me, do you know other people work, and you put programs together and you get into curating, and that's not just in film. I also run a gallery in Vienna, so I do curating in my own gallery for 8 years, and then it developed into a whole festival where you have a much bigger program running. So one thing leads to another, but at the center I would say I'm an artist, and from that position on I view most other things then.
Well, how did it all started? Like, can you tell us a bit about your earliest memories with films or any kind of art or cinemas?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I never went to a cinema with my parents first, so my first experiences are with cinema when I went there by myself, and that was most likely some Disney cartoon or something like that, I assume. And in cinema it's always 90 minutes long. It must have been some compilation. And I remember I did go to cinemas by paying for it myself with my pocket money. I spent all my pocket money either on comics or on cinema. But most likely before that I saw films on television, but that was not so much entertainment in the cinematic sense. It was TV series and big events, and I know that in the 60s the big events that people did watch on television were the landing on the moon and big boxing matches that were broadcasted early in the morning, and I remember seeing those at my parents' house because we got our television in the late 60s, but I do remember my grandparents had TV earlier, and they watched everything from crime TV series, and in Austria they had something where some weird guy was trying to figure out how to solve real crimes, and it was super scary. And I do remember seeing that, but it's hard to put it there, and that was running for like 30 years. But definitely black and white TV series from the United States and stuff like that.
So is there some of them that influenced you for the things you do today?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe not at that age. Maybe not when you're that young because you're just scared. And I do remember at a quite early stage, I can't remember when it was, but that was already a little later. I definitely was influenced by the two films, by the feature films by Bruno Pozzetti. Yeah, I forgot the names in English, but the cowboy film and the superhero film, I forgot the names. I do remember that I was impressed with them because until that point I had seen cartoons as a kind of short length entertainment or Disney, and in the cinemas I couldn't understand because they had the original version of Donald Duck with the voice that I couldn't understand as a child. There was no way to have that squeaky Donald Duck voice. I saw it and it said something, but I couldn't tell what it was. Yeah. So that to me was different. That there was a completely different style in animation. But of course, TV programs, they do influence you. Yeah. But at different ages with different things. I mean, for instance, Bonanza, which I did like to watch as a child. It's a cowboy family and adventures and so on. And of course, you play roles. Who are you in the family? Or other like 60s TV programs from the UK. What was it? UFO. People working on the moon with purple hair, and then but it's really more that you identify with certain roles. But subtly, of course, they influence your ideas and images as well. But not at that age specifically as something I want to do this or that. Yeah. What I have to say is that this combination of watching films, all kinds of films, not just animated films, and cartoons led directly to me making films. That's no question. So there was really no separation between the idea of telling a story visually in a cartoon or in a comic book, to seeing it on the screen for me. And so that definitely had influence, but not one specific thing. The only thing I'm unhappy about is that most of the comics, the little books that I bought at that time, really early 70s, are gone. They would have some value for collectors probably nowadays, because at that time I spent my pocket money. They didn't cost much, and it was literally cheap. In the cinema, when I went to the cinema, I remember at that time it cost about 40 cents if you convert it, and I was always sitting in the front row because the next row would be like 45 cents and so on. So, but I was sitting in the front row and I was young, so and I still enjoyed it, of course, looking up very steep. Now in that they had up to 4 cinemas in that small town. Now it's only 1 remaining. So of course a big change there.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much. I told you, hope enough, and thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you again. Okay.